The voice actor for Sisu has done songs such as My Vag, New York City Bitches, and Queef. Sounds like a perfect casting for a kid's cartoon character. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of Raya and the Last Dragon. And yes, before you attack me for two reasons, well, number one, yes, I can't say her name, Raya, because it comes out as a W, not an R, thanks to my lovely speech impediment. But number two, I do have things to say about this movie. So, first of all, I have seen a few reviews of this movie, and they all say the same thing. Meh. But when furries talk about it, it's the next big thing. It's huge. Furries love it, and they love Sisu. Specifically, they love Sisu. So, I'm a furry, and also a reviewer. So, surely I'm going to give this a high score, right? Well, here's the thing. The reviewer side of me is saying, I can't do that. Just like Walk Dog with like the furries loved, I gotta give this film a big old meh. And here's why. So, first of all, I never really cared about this movie from the start. I was never interested in seeing this movie, nothing about it really excited me. Even though I love Disney and can be surprised by them, this one just never really hit me, you know, I never really cared. But that doesn't mean I went in wanting to hate it or anything. There's plenty of films I've watched not caring about it at all, and ended up having a blast watching it. I only ended up watching this movie when I saw that reviewers were saying meh, and furries were saying hells yeah. So, as a furry, I needed to see what the fuss was about. So I won't try and go into too many spoilers, like I won't go into like all major spoilers and all that kind of stuff. I'll just give basic rundowns of the story and so on. So basically there was a world full of dragons and magic. Then the Drong, basically the darkness of the earth, comes to destroy the world, turning people into stone so the dragons use up all their power, destroying the darkness, returning the people to normal, but in the process turns themselves to stone. All that's left is an orb of power, and humans being humans, as that's how it's described in the film, so you kind of know what the message is already, wanted that power for themselves, and so all the nations split off, and we are now 500 years later. The countries are all at war with each other to get the stone, with Raya training to become the next guardian, by going under some nets. Yeah, what was the training here? So yes, she becomes the new guardian. Her dad is a guardian too, but is also the king of sorts of this land of Heart. Each tribe has a name associated with part of a dragon-shaped river located on Heart, Spine, Talon, Fang, and Tail. Her dad brings all the tribes together to try and become peaceful, to try and become one once again, basically. Which problem here is like the big part of them having the orb and not the other tribes is that they then suspect them that like Heart has gotten their wealth and like how they're able to live a good life is because of the orb. Yet, looking at them all, they look perfectly fine. Like, they look well dressed, which cost material, I'm sure, like, aren't easy for them. Yet, they have them. Neither of them really look like a war-torn people, yet demand restoring still after 500 years, yet they all look like they're doing fine. I never ever once believed that this was like a war-torn world. Which I will get into, because there's like a specific scene that made me just go, yeah, no, this isn't a war-torn country. So anyway, Raya ends up with a new friend from like one of the other tribes, and they're like, haha, we are such dragon nerds. But not once did I believe that. They say that a good couple times in the movie, and so it's just like, that's like a big kind of thing. But it's not like Raya knows any more knowledge than others. She doesn't like spend time studying the dragons of old or anything. The whole dragon nerd thing makes no sense whatsoever and was not very well thought out, I think. So, I will spoil one thing at the start here, which I know, I said I wasn't going to spoil anything, but you see it from a mile away is the most obvious thing, and of course, they end up being betrayed by her new friend, and their tribe specifically. Then everyone joins in and the stone is broken and taken by each tribe, but because the orb broke, the druid returned and started turning people into stone. Her dad is turned to stone, and here's a problem I also have. They're turned to stone and are positioned a very certain way, which is never ever explained why they are positioned that way, which is fine, whatever. But I find it much less impactful than instead of these like painful anguishes of them and like in those kind of scenes and all that. But later on in the film, to make the scene more impactful, they're in the position that they are in when they are turned to stone. But that doesn't make sense then if they're always put into a certain position. So it's kind of immersion breaking when the movie doesn't follow its own rules. It's just there to make the scene more sad, but it makes no sense when that's not how it works. If that's what you have to do to try and get emotion out of people, then maybe you're doing the scene wrong. Anyway, we cut to 6 years later where Raya is trying to find Sisu. See, the girl she met had given her a scroll telling her a story that Sisu was still alive and had been like flown down the river, so she's along this river path that like she has been following most of her life. She also gave her this dragon charm, which for some bloody reason she still carries around with her, even though it was given her by a traitor who screwed over the entire well by releasing these things. Okay, sure, it was by accident, but it happened, and she still keeps a charm? Why? It's got nothing special to her. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't mean anything. Right, so it could be used later. Got ya. It's kind of just bad writing, and just so tropey. And so much of the film is just that. Tropey. It's such a basic movie. Humans are bad, humans must work together, but humans no like that, and are only doing things for themselves, so no work together. Oh no, now we must work together. Oh look, now all is well. That's the plot, that's the movie. Hell, there's no real bad guys either. The bad guy is just purple mist that represent darkness in people. It's not frightening or fun, it's just basic. And it's not the only thing that ends up being basic. So, how Sisu comes into it makes no real sense. That whole scene was kind of confusing. And I will say, I did not expect that voice at all. While I like it, I also don't. There's just something about it. Like, she smokes too much. I mean, she's a dragon, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but at the same time, I kind of appreciated how different it sounded. But I think it's more like the humor and the acting that she does I just don't really like. Like, right away, she's all over the place and just, well, animated. Like, it's that very basic character trait of, like, in cartoons when they first, like, meet the new person and the character just continuously talks and is moving all over the place, while the other character just stands there like, you dragon, wowee.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Not too bad, just a little dusty. Let me get that for you.
It's almost like she is trying to be like Mushu, for example. It's almost like she's trying to be like that, but not funny.
Is that food? I was so focused on saving the world, I forgot to have breakfast today. I mean, what is this delightful culinary treat?
It's jackfruit jerky?
Well, compliments to the chef. Want to finish this, Skippy?
That said, nothing in this movie is really all that funny. Nothing made me laugh or even chuckle. Hell, they even have fart beetles and a diaper being thrown about, so they go that low sometimes. But yeah, so Sisu does look great, but she spends most of the movie in a human form. Yeah, or you just don't really see her.
Look at my people arms and my people face. Look how close my butt is to my head.
At least like a good chunk of the movie, she's human. And it's just boring. Like, Disney is obviously so proud of their hair. And yeah, sure, it looks great, but I want to see the dragon. And yeah, she suffers from Elsa face, but it's not the worst. Like, at least most of the characters do look different. And not having Elsa face. I think it's the eyes or something. So yeah, that's the gist of the story, that they then go off together to find the other pieces of the orb, bring it back together and save humanity. Along the way, they meet up with new friends, including like a kid cook, who I do like, but worse. They go to one of the villages that's on water, and it's a beautiful location, but apparently it's full of thieves, and the person in charge lacks style, according to Raya. Even though he looks stylish in that outfit, like with that coloring, and the place looks like amazing, so calling him that makes no sense to me. And the people there seem nice, but they do end up being robbed by a baby and monkeys. What is up with all these babies in these films? But yep, a baby who acts like an adult using a baby charm to trick people. Baby noises are one of the worst things ever. In the history of noises, the last thing I want to hear is baby noises. It's not the worst here, but it's still just like, I don't care for a baby character. It's just a baby, that's the character. It's like, oh, it's doing something different that you don't expect from a baby. Ha ha, I don't get it, I don't. And later we get a big brute who's actually a softie, which again, is such a basic character trait to have. So all the characters are just generic or just exactly what you expect. Like, wow, dragon, but dragon isn't gracious and beauty of this world, but instead they're very talkative and weird. Oh look, big manly dude. Oh, he big softy. Oh look, baby, I wonder if he'll do something that a basic doesn't. Oh, look, it did. Nothing feels new, and that really sucks because originality at Disney isn't much of a thing anymore. Look at the fact they've been doing so many live action movies all the time, of like all that old stuff, which sounds great on paper, I will admit. That sounds kinda cool. But it's got give us money written all over it. Besides Pete's Dragon, I love that one. But like with this one, like, yeah, old story, we get it. Humans are evil, humans are dicks, we get it. It ain't changing the way the world works by making these kinds of movies. I mean, Disney trying to tell this story? Well, it's Disney, a giant corporation taking so many other companies and turning everything into a Marvel movie. Seriously, Lion King remake. Again, I'm mentioning that movie, but it felt like a Marvel movie. Like, am I wrong about that? Mufasa steps out of the light and the music rises like the crowd is meant to go, oh hey, oh my god, it's Mufasa! Like they would if it was Captain America. And it's not like the music wasn't there in the original, but it was subtle and in the background. Well here it's just like, bah, it just booms out the white sort of time when it's like, feels very Marvel-like.
Please, stop it! Well, look who's come down to mingle with the commoners.
Now, Scar, don't look at me that way. Help!
Scar. Drop.
Everything they make is all about wow moments, you know? Nothing really just feels new from them anymore. And something that is new, like this movie, still doesn't feel new because it's trope after trope with basic characters filling those tropes. It's not that they're not likable, because they are. I really don't mind Sisu, but she did nothing to make me like her. Like, sure, she's a cool design, and like later on she tells of how like she became like the last dragon, and we get to see her brothers and sisters, so we get to see more of all these dragons, and they look really pretty, but it just kind of makes it go, I want to see that film. That would be just like amazing and make the ending of a film like this sacrifice if like that was then like the ending of that kind of film. It would be memorable as hell, but this movie even failed in that, by giving us the most basic Disney movie ending ever that you just kind of hope it won't do, you know, because like then it's not memorable, nor does it make any sense at all given what happened. But whatever. Just nothing in this movie is memorable. There's even characters whose stories you really don't care for and have like redemptions that just don't work. There's like one nice scene in the movie where Sisu like runs along the Wayne, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of how like they fly, I guess, and it's a really nice moment. The water looks amazing. The water is very well animated in this movie, and it's a great scene, but it's over and done with so quickly that I just don't care at all about it. And that was really the only scene that made me feel that way. I'm sorry, but I have to point to another film with a dragon in it. How to Train Your Dragon. It has so many memorable scenes. Hiccup fighting Toothless and setting him free, the first time he feeds him, when he draws in the sand, when they trust each other, when they take their first flight, and that ending where he loses a leg, matching Toothless losing a part of his tail, so they match in a way, and now Toothless needs to help him. All this with a dragon that doesn't talk, mind you. Scenes like that are important in films, and yes, the one scene they do have with Sisu is great, but there's no real music to accompany it as well. I don't care enough about the characters or the world, so this one scene doesn't hit me like it should. As I said, there's no real music to accompany the scene either, and same goes with the rest of the film. There's a couple of nice music bits here and there, but nothing memorable at all. I'm sorry, this review has been a bit of a mess, like all my reviews are. But I'm not like really trying. I'm trying to avoid spoilers and all this kind of stuff. So it is a lot more shorter, a lot more different and such. Because I'm not going for each specific scene. Because I still think that people should go watch this. Because I know there's got to be people who enjoy it. And yeah, I don't think it's that bad. And I do think people should watch it. You know, because I'm trying not to give everything away. Because I still think it's a good film. I didn't hate this movie. I just don't think it's that great. It's generic as hell with the same characters and plot we have seen over and over again. Sisu is what holds your attention, but even then, as I said, she's human most of the film and doesn't really do anything. She fires smoke twice, I think that's really about it. She's a water dragon, just like makes it rain, but even then, it's not her power. You understand, like when you're watching a film and all that. But it's not really her power doing it, but yeah, that's about it. She does nothing spectacular, and all in all, I'm saying this film is okay. The animation was beautiful for the most part, and I do think like most of the characters were good, even if they were generic, but I do have to point that out in a review. Honestly, I'm gonna forget all about this movie eventually, but I will give this movie a 5 out of 10 foxes. I think this movie is pretty average, honestly. I feel like if this movie had like a true villain, it would have made it so much more better. It had an impactful ending, but it really doesn't. So yeah, it's an average movie to me. I'm also glad it wasn't full of songs like Moana was, though, I will say that. Same time, at least one wouldn't have heard it. So yeah, that's the end of this review. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel, because I will love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.